Here's an introduction to the file system in Windows. At the end of this series of videos, hopefully you'll be able to locate a file in a specific folder or directory on your computer. You should be able to copy a file from one place to another, move files, create shortcuts, and so on and so forth. Many people think that they know a lot about computers and they can get along pretty well. They could use certain programs. They could check their email. They could use Word, maybe Excel. But even so, there's something that's lacking in that they don't know how to find a simple file within the whole computer file structure. So let's just start over here. Where do you start? Well, my computer gives you an overview of your whole computer, so you can click here on the Start button, and we'll go over here to Computer, and that will let you see the disk drives and other hardware connected to your computer. So we'll click over here, and it'll open up Windows Explorer with a list of the various hard drives and DVD drives and flash drives and so on and so forth that are connected to your computer. So if you look over here, I have local disks and then in parentheses C:, and DVD, rewritable drive, D:, and this happens to be the volume inside of it. It says Cyber Tablet. Okay, so the idea is that you have various physical hard drives or floppy disk drives, flash drives, and so on and so forth connected to your computer, and Windows assigns a different letter to each of them. So just to talk about this a little bit, the A drive is very often associated, classically associated with the floppy disk drive, and the same thing with B:, was a floppy disk. And then C after A and B, so C was the first drive that was not a floppy disk, and that was the name that was typically given to your hard drive. If you have multiple hard drives, so then they might be named D, E, and so on and so forth. You might also have DVD drives, CD drives, flash drives, and so on and so forth, and Windows will automatically assign a drive letter to each of them. So that's what we see over here. My computer happens to have two different drives. One's this DVD drive, and one is my hard drive, and my hard drive is called C. Let me go into this C drive. I'll do that by double-clicking on C. Click once. If you click again, so that's not going to do it. You need to double-click. And here I have now C. And it says Computer Local Disk C. Here's a useful tip. If you just click over here in this address bar, this is the address bar on top, so it'll give the path. They'll give you words or letters that sort of tell you where you are. So it says over here C:/. The C is the drive letter, as I said before. The colon, well, after a drive letter, we'll have a colon to separate the drive letter from the rest of what's called the file path. And then slash, this is a backslash, by the way. If you look at your keyboard, you'll see two different slashes. One of them will be right by the backspace over the enter, the top of your keyboard. Here I'll type the backslash. You see this is a backslash. There's, if you look by the shift key, the right shift key, immediately to the side of that shift key will be what's called a forward slash. And in Windows, backslashes are used for file paths, and forward slashes you'll more typically see in when going to websites. So you'll have a forward slash, not a backslash. Okay, so here's C:. Within C:, well, C colon slash. This slash, let's go over here for a second. The slash is called the root folder, or the root directory. A folder is just another name for a directory. It's a place where you'll store files and folders and so on and so forth. It'll become clearer as we go through it. So here we are in the root folder, and I have different subfolders within it. So for example, I'm gonna go into this folder. Let's see, where do we have a good folder? Let's say into users. So it says computer, local disk, users. Let's click again over here on the top, and it says C colon slash users. What that means is that I'm on the C drive, physical hard drive called C. Within that drive, I was in the root folder, and then within the root folder, there was actually several other subfolders. One of those subfolders was called users. And so I navigated into the users folder, so it says C colon slash users. I could always go back. You see here's a back arrow. So back will take me back to just C colon slash, and forward will take me forward to C colon slash users. Okay, so users was one subfolder. Toolbox, it turns out, is another folder. So let's go over here. So we have another folder called tools. And what else do we have? Let's go back again. Oh, so here was toolbox, by the way, so it was C colon slash toolbox. See, that's what it says over here. And then we also, let's say, had a folder called Python 2.6, and in Python 6, so C colon slash Python 2.6. So Python 2.6. And then we had a whole bunch of other folders. You can see over here a whole bunch of other folders. That's users, toolbox, temp, Sunday CS12 2010, Python 3.2, Python 2.7, Python 2.6, program files. All of these are subfolders. They're folders within another folder, so it's a subfolder within that root folder. Okay, so a folder is just it's a logical collection of folders and files. It's a way of organizing your files and folders. Let's go back here for a second. Now, folders and subfolders can each have subfolders in turn. So let's go back here into the users. Let's actually Python 2.6. And here within Python 2.6, C colon slash Python 2.6, I could go into the lib folder. So I'll double click here on lib. And now I'm in C colon slash Python 2.6, and then Python 2.6 had a subfolder called lib. So Python 2.6, we had a subfolder called lib. Let's go back over here, go back, and there was another subfolder called scripts, and here's various scripts within Python, so that would be C colon slash Python 2.6 slash scripts. Now, any of these folders or subfolders, besides having other folders in them, they could also have files. So here, for example, this f2py.py, that is a file that's sitting in the C colon slash Python 2.6 slash scripts. In fact, you can talk about that file and talk about its full path. So I could say, for example, C colon slash Python 2.6 slash script slash, and then give the file name f2py.py. Oops, go in here, slash f2py.py, and that would be not just the file name, but the full path of the file name. Why is it called a path? Because you start over here at the root, and then let's use a different color to denote this this file. f2pi.py, f2pi.py. So we can talk about a path that we take from the root. We start at the root, and then we go into the Python 2.6 folder. From Python 2.6, we go into the scripts folder, and once we're in the scripts folder, we'll find f2pi.py. So this whole thing over here, this whole picture that I drew, it's a tree. Yeah, it doesn't look like a tree, but just imagine that you have the base of the tree, the root of the tree, we call it the root, and then within the root you have then you have the trunk, and from the trunk you have branches. So each of these folders are different branches of the tree, and then the branches go into sub-branches until you get to twigs, and so on and so forth, until eventually you reach leaves. And so it might help to actually flip this picture of a tree upside down, and then you can imagine it better as a tree. But to get to this particular file, this file over here, there was a path that we took from the root that we traveled to get there. And so I can draw it as a picture, in which case it's complicated. I could record a video, in which case you'll understand how to go there. I could write out written directions. Or this is a very, very concise way of giving the path. You say call, in other words, you give the drive name, and then you give the folder slash Python 2.6. The slash is also used to divide one folder from another subfolder. So from Python 2.6, and you go into the script subfolder. If you have to go into other subfolders, you separate them again with slashes until finally you have the file name. So that's what we call a file path. Okay. Now, just to show other things that you can do within Windows Explorer. So we saw beforehand you have this back button. That'll take you back or forward. So there's a sort of a history of where you've gone. There's also this little X over here. You could close Windows Explorer. You could maximize it and make it take up the whole screen, minimize it so it takes up only a smaller amount. You could resize the window. There's all sorts of interesting things that you can do. Now there's different views, and depending on the view, so you'll get different sort of information. So let me just show you a little bit about this over here. You see, change your view. So if you click down over here, I gotta move this down a bit. If you click this down arrow over here, so you could say, show me the details. What are the details? That's the name, the date modified, the type of file, the file size, how many bytes it takes. You could also say instead, show me tiles. Or you could say, show me content. So there's different ways of looking at the same file. Show me a list. Show me small icons, show me medium icons, large icons, extra large icons. There's all sorts of different ways of viewing it. Let's go back to details. That's the way that I like it the best. We also, there's a preview pane. For each file, usually, let's say over here I click on this file, so I don't know what's inside of it. But if I show the preview pane, so for certain types of files, it'll show you a preview. Let's go to my documents file, and here is an Excel spreadsheet. So will they show me here in the preview pane what's in the spreadsheet? Maybe. Yeah, you see here is they show in the preview pane what's in that spreadsheet. So that way you don't have to spend so much time looking. You don't have to open up every single file in order to figure out whether the file is the one that you're looking for. Okay, now let me show you another way of navigating all of this. Here we had the main pane, and we saw the folders and subfolders and files within this main pane over here. But here on the side, we have another way of looking at it that's a hierarchical tree. So here you have the computer with C colon and D colon. If you expand this C colon, you'll have a list of all of the folders in here. And so we have, for example, we have users. You see over here I could expand users, and then I'd see the subfolders within there. Or Python 2.6. It'll only show the folders over here, but within Python 2.6, then I went into scripts, and then if I go into scripts, you see here is the script files. Or if I go into lib, so it'll show me lib, and I could expand that. Each of these, it still is amounting to the same thing over here as C colon / Python 2.6 / lib. Okay, this also gives you a quick way of opening up a specific folder within your computer. So let me take this C colon / Python 2.6 / lib. Let me X this out. I'll close it out, and I'll click here on the Start button, and over here, it used to be you would click on Run, but here you could just, it's a little text box, you could type whatever you want, and so you could start typing here, C colon / and then I'll type Python, and it's giving me suggestions over here, but I'll type Python 2.6 / let's say lib, and then I could press enter, and it'll open it for me directly. Or just again C colon / Python 2.6 / scripts, and that'll open up the scripts folder. And so this is a way of directly getting to the folder that you're looking for. Now, why do we want to have these folders? Why not just put everything in that root folder? And the answer is, if you have too many files in a single folder, you won't be able to find anything. So like this, Windows already organizes a lot of things for you, but you can make your own folders, and you can put your files in those other folders, and then it'll be much easier to find them. So that's maybe what we'll see in the next video. How do you create your own folder? And how do you copy files from one folder to another, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's enough for one video, I think.